Okay, hey, trade finds every day. George Skull coming at you from the STEM lab. So here's the long and hairy of it today, or the short and hairy if you prefer. I can go either way. So, today I did my probation thing today and doing my thing. Just kind of in a good mood. I've been running the rabbit today. It's usually when I'm happy. You got something to do better than cabin fever, usually is. But again, it's the same rabbit, chasing something down to work and hitting them, going into a bunch of places, getting your face out there and around. So I knocked out probation, kind of a thing. It's the same deal that they've been telling me, pretty much doing fine, just get something working here. Stopped into the dairy plant there, and made my presence known. I didn't quite kick in the door, but I made sure somebody come down and visited me at the front door. A lot of these places, it's something that drives me crazy with the internet applications. How do you know what you're getting? You don't look at the person. I mean, you get a lot from that, but you can do the same thing in a 5-minute conversation. Just have them walk in and get an application, and you can tell a lot about a person. Then again, not necessarily the attire. I mean, indoors, yeah, but I'm stopping at a bunch of stone docks and lumber mills today, and I don't know if this is exactly the proper attire, but, again, it can have those effects. A lot of it is good handshake, direct eye contact, just filling out a good application, seeing if you can sneak some of that stuff in there, again, that you're going to put on those applications, checked out one of those stone docks out towards Sydney. It's like halfway the distance between Deposit and Sydney. There's a little stone dock out there I never seen. I hit that one up, and that was a good one. 'Cause right there's the boss. You walk right in the office. Yeah, I got all kinds of stone experience: treads, thermals, gantry bays, cleaning the bays, dumpsters. I've done stone for Princeton University, wire saws, honing tables, hand honing, hand thermaling, specialty custom orders. I can go on all day. I can fill out your entire card in terms of your application if it's 5 positions and nothing but stone. So that's nice, in that aspect of it. Again, walk onto the dock, you can get to talk to a boss, and even if they're not hiring or something like that, you walk up to them and go, hey, you're doing wood. I don't have a lot of experience doing wood, but I got a lot of stone experience. I see you got a lot of product here. I'm just trying to fill out my mason's card. A lot of machinery, a lot of saws and heavy equipment. This is where that stuff comes into play, regardless of the medium you're working. It's a stonemason. There's loggers and sawyers, which again, when the quantum mechanics starts to apply into a thing, you understand the STEM mechanics. That's how I teach and understand this. So I'm not too particular on. I'll gauge you. You can be Muslim. I don't give a damn. We'll figure this out. We're generals here. We'll get there. Little things. I don't know how to come up, but just facial expressions, up and to the left, up to the right, you got to pay attention to those things. You got to make sure you're watching your own body dynamics. If you don't lie, you don't have nothing to lie about. You'd be amazed how easy it is, just to embellish on something and look up and to the right. And you really got to focus on those things, in certain aspects. The war shack you're dealing with can deal with micro motions. This is for an applicant as much as if I were on the other side of that, what I look for. Just a regular conversation with people. Why are you lying about Mason stuff? Yeah, Mason stuff. Or an embellishment of some level. You'll find some kind of truth in what's written in that card or that war shack painting. Again, when you start with war shack, what do you see here? This is kind of an inversion of you're starting in a stone dock. I know the end result. Just to prick up that, you're going to look at me like it's a goddamn butterfly. It's sparkles and unicorns. Yeah, I'm going to look at you and start immediately grouping you in a state. When you do that in terms of, it's all here. In the same way, it's a micro expression, perk your interest or have some kind of withdrawn aspect. And again, it's going to be relative. Some of them have bold group states, but it's going to be relative to what question you're asking. Why is the end result to a stone dock or a log factory, the way it is? And it carries a lot of dominance as well with it, that mental domination aspect. And again, I don't play hypnotism like that. You always give to the generals that understand that's their place. Yeah, I'm not gonna fucking whip it out and have a cockfight with you about that. It's not what I'm dealing. It's not what I'm here for. I'm here to try to just be the general laborer. However, you talk about general labor, and by the time you're done, you've covered everything in that card to become a manager, but you're going to get paid action. You got to realize that, It's not like, so again, I did a bunch of double taps, anything I can do, and easy red, just grab out my application, put a sticky note on it. I've been backing around. Schaefer's again, try to, it's anything I can do, anybody I can talk to. If you could put mine on the top of the pile, so they have to go through that one first, because it might mean something, Just, my name is Jordan Scoville. Jordan Scoville on the way out the door, Until, there was that one guy, he had that tattoo on his neck, wearing glasses, kind of fucking been around. Sometimes it's a card burner because you do have to put, your references on there. Whether you want to call them or not, they can. How are you supposed to prove that they don't, some of those aspects of whether you've been there, how fast you fill out an application, whether you do it there in front of them, those can make big differences as well. I can't prove that right here, but I know from past experience that to be true. It's just kind of regional in the season that we're in. You may not think it's astrology, but there's a different star pattern up there right now that makes a difference. And if I had to go by that calculation in the dock and had to manage that dock based on that number to determine how much product's going out right now, other than some weird, I forget what it was, strange calculation. You have the crown, it's an Aristotelian calculation to determine the volume of it, and then you're on a boat with a rock that's super heavy, dense, and you dropped it in there, does the water go up or down? Well, it actually goes down because you're on a boat, unless you're on a boat with aluminum foil, which is all quantum physics nonsense jargon because it still follows the basic general relativity of a standard base rock in Aristotle and fucking physics, but that's totally different on something totally different. There's probably a few heavy-duty scientists in mathematics that know what I'm talking about. You're doing 12 things at once. When you're working a shovel, you're cleaning something to make management time later more efficient, and that's a management skill. It's also a small business skill that you're picking up. You're doing all those things at once, and it still happens at a XYZ degree and farther dimensions of general relativity if you crack the book and all that good stuff. And the command directive, my resume base, Swag Incorporated, kind of business model, even though that's what I do to my own, when I go to market myself, I can do blueprinting, I can do yard stock, I can do landscape, and I can any aspect, inventory of a landscape, or inventory of a business, any of that shit, we're good. That's what you want me to do. You want me to do customer service, like at Wagner's. I didn't get a chance to really talk to them yet, customers, but I've done inventory for parts stores before. I've got customer service experience, hotels, down the left. Think about what that does. Where am I going? I'm not embellishing something. You got to be able to pay attention to that stuff as well. And like it's not emotion. How would I position a question after that? What more detail? Give me a little something. Let me see how you react. It's not necessarily that what you're doing is wrong in an application, but give me it. Again, it's not Masons, it's physics. It's as much physics because physics is psychology. I can't determine what a physics is. Like, it's basically a rock or a piece of fruit. This piece of fruit is gravity. It's dropping, it's throwing it. It's a lot of swag that goes into the parapsychology, quantum mechanics that describe this conversation or what have you. I just use physics because it's the rock. For me, that's physics will make psychology. It's a group state of analyzation. All the terms of this, all the freaking terms are the same, except for you're gonna say this one's a person and this one's a rock. This one's that particle that has a bunch of particles in it, and you're basically looking at this one like it's a wave function made up of a bunch of points, which are particles. Well, this is the timeline during the day. It's made up of points and particles and boards and 2x4s that have that cosmetology, topology, algebraic, Pythagorean, base to it, and I can do both at once and teach a squirrel how to do general relativity. I don't care how nutty they are, or how bad their ADD, OCD, or lack of training and skill of thinking that they're not a general. You know, at all points in here when I'm around, it's just the way it is. I'm looking for that raise. Whatever it takes, you know. Failure is not an option. I gotta make this quick.
Credit Karma, huh? Yeah. Credit Karma.
Not exactly sensible from this move, but I bet you I can make it happen. Can is an option in my dictionary that totally exists in this quantum nature. Maybe not realistically, but I'd love to right now. You know, other than, well, we don't do that around here. You know, there's a difference. You know, a lot of places. Again, you know, you kind of have to look at where I'm at with it. It's like, it doesn't matter. It's a new factory. It's a new piece of machinery. You know, even though it's all stone, you got a specific setup to your dock. You know, and to the region that might mean something. It matters. How much is what you make it. Gravity is what you make it. It can be a great career. It could be that extra dollar, but you might have to find it in the mud. Clean it all off, dust it off, no longer dark matter. So that's what that was. Again, a bunch of them. You know, stop back in the dollar store, Rabbitohs, Quick Way. Hit the country store in in Walton, the veterinary clinic in Walton. Again, gave them my resume, told them to check out my STEM, my STEM YouTube page. It's all resume. It's all set to resume and machinery and equipment. If you back that up on my Facebook page, they're all. If you take the look, you can see cat videos, porn, you know, or you can see Jordan's page and how they're set up and what they're doing. You know. It matters. I'm thinking about it. I know, in a way, I'm using psychology to cheat the system, but I have the backup for it. You know, it's not, you know, I can back that shit up. And
Congress convened yesterday. Senate Republicans introduced a budget resolution. This is a resolution that Republicans are referring to as the repeal resolution, and really the first step.
I could give you all the negative. I can give you the long and hairy for it. You know, all the things wrong with this system. The second I got out of jail, you know, everybody generals, right? And constitutionally obligated here.
Part 2, and that is the budget reconciliation bill. Now, this is the vehicle that will actually carry the language to repeal major parts of the ACA. Now,
it's all code to me. It's some level of substitution, transposition. Substitute this much of it, transmit this much into it. It's a negative irrational number. A state, form, or resistance. Government. You gotta be a general, at least an officer, anyways. I mean, you don't ever really want to be just a private and think that you can sustain that kind of system. That's not exactly a law, but it's a damn good gold standard. A mechanics in a Euclidean state is the periodic table for gold, AU, you know, or whatever, copper, brass, silver, metal, iron, whatever. You'll make it work. Pound it, bang on it, space, you know, that's what it'll all work out to. Space, time, and authority are basically all illusions. There is no space. Here's an oxygen molecule. It's there. There's a vacuum in space. That's a thing. It has a certain weight. It has a specific density, and it'll move. It's something. Is it really? Am I really here? Why is the chair right there? Just call me the Mad Hatter. Mutually assured destruction. I'll burn it all down.
Because there are patient protections in there. The cap, for example, how much an insurance company will pay for you if you develop a chronic disease, for example.
So again, I knocked out a bunch of them today. Make sure that, you know, doing anything. It's one of those things, you know, I'm on probation. There is, you know, they have locked in. That's their job. It's what they have to do. And if there's checks and balances to the machinery work, it's just the way it is, and it's 50/1. CNN, what do you think?
Thanks very much. Coming up, President Obama.
I'd survive it. That's what I tell you. I'd just be nice. Of course, you're not going to. I'd just be like, be nice. You know, tell me 2 or 3 days before I'd go grab a bag or something like that. Because what's the point in fucking trying at that point? You know, who wants to get fucking locked up because you couldn't find work in a system where it's kind of fucked? But again, I knocked out a bunch of them. It's one of those things. I know you want to find me busy. That's what that is. But it's basically me. I'm gonna say it's slave labor. But on the turn of that, look, you know, I'm not doing any of those things. There's proof to back that up. I've been doing the logs. You may not believe them, but when I'm not doing that, I'm in the library. I'm checking in on places. And catch you on the next one.